Welcome to another ShuBuilds tutorial. Before we start, I want to thank everybody. Since last week we've doubled our subs. I'm very happy that you guys enjoy everything that I post. I'll make sure that I keep posting and giving you a reason to stick around. Of course, don't forget to support my fellow builders as well. The links will be in the description below. And if you want to support me in game with this cool little decal, I'll put the decal ID down below for you as well. Today we are going to be building this wall right here.
Yeah, mão pro alto, já tava te vendo. É assalto, olha minha Draco. Não é clique de Canon. Lanço mais som que...
Let's get started. Today we're going to be building the Villa Shoe or the Villa Shoe wall interior, and it's going to be looking like this. Of course, if you don't want to use all this gardening stuff, you can go with my original one, which I used the decoration called Natural Sculpture, and you put this one in the middle right here, and then ignore all the gardening stuff. It also saves you some data if you don't want to end up using it. This wall is a tree, so like I said and mentioned in the last video, make sure that you first decide on your interior. So where do you want to be on the inside? The basic usually size of a living room is going to be 2 times this, so this is going to be a 6 wall, and you can make your little living room or even the kitchen next to it, whatever you want to build is up to you. For the entrance, I always use 1 block out and then 1 block in, and then you have the door right here, and then go 1 block again, and then continue your little wall pattern. It depends on where you want the entrance to be. If you want your entrance to go inside, don't use the 1, and instead use the 3 going inwards. That way you can copy the same decorations that you have going on here onto this wall, and you will still have the same effect as you did with the last one. If you're gonna cut it inwards, again, have 1 extra wall right here so that you can follow the pattern and the pattern doesn't get stuck inside of the corner of the wall. Alright, so let's get started. Before we do everything else, make sure you get the colors in first, and then afterwards you can just clone it. Of course, on this wall we're going to be using the wheat together with the large bricks. Most of this wall is going to be hiding inside, but it will pop out in certain spots, and I think it gives a little bit of a nicer effect on the wall itself, on the windows and everything else. We're going to be using the burlap, and of course everything is going to be marble. For the pillars, we're going to be using the burlap together with the institutional white. Same we're going to be using on these, and they are called rustic planter box. And of course on this one as well, because it gives a little bit more detail on the wall and not make everything just disappear inside of the burlap. So everything is going to be burlap and institutional white. For the lights, it depends on where you're gonna put these lights. Like I mentioned in the last video, institutional white can hurt the eyes, but it's up to you. The house itself that I built is pretty dark on the inside, so these white lights don't affect it that much. The same with the floors on the outside are really dark. If you go for something lighter, I suggest you use either the medium stone gray or even something darker with the dark stone gray. This is completely up to you how you want to make it look like. For these, we're gonna have of course the marble burlap. The text, the image that I used on this one is a personal one. I will put the ID below in case you want to use this one, or use any that you like. It's like this one because the yellow kind of matched everything else. For these, however, I used something that was inside of Bloxburg itself. I looked it up on dark gray bricks or gray bricks. The list is pretty long, gonna have to go through quite a few, but if you want to use this one, that's how you're gonna get that one. For these walls, we're gonna be using the light stone gray with the grout plus brick, and that's gonna be on everything of this wall, including the little ottoman down there. It's gonna be both that, and it's gonna be on top of this wall. In case you want to use it, I will show you after we build this wall. So let's get started. First wall, it's going to be 3. Again, first define where you want your rooms to be, where you want your entrance to be. If you want your entrance to start right there, like I did on mine, you start right there and then continue with the trees. You always want to use one extra if you go into a corner, so that you can keep the decorations going the same way. So for the window, make sure you have it set on 2, so that it goes right there in the center. You don't have to worry about aligning it or anything. For the pillars on the inside, it's the same way. So you don't have to worry about putting them in the right spot. They will put themselves in the right spot. And then for the fencing, we're gonna be using the small hedge right there. So you got your basic effect going on already. We put the light in the middle, right there. We put our oak shelves on both ends right there. And we're gonna put our regular painting. We're gonna put these manually. Make sure that they are lined up correctly. You see it covers the whole wall. And then we're gonna paint this wall with the wheat and the large bricks on the back. Now for the pillars on the sides, I'm not gonna put them inside of the wall because they will show up on the other side. I don't really like that because it will kind of mess with the interior design that you're gonna be making, or at least that I made. So we're gonna put them just slightly in front of it, so that they would block the oak shelves. And of course make sure that you put them in the center, like that, and like that. Then for the tables that we're going to be using in the center, we're going to be using 3x3, just make them slightly go inside, and because we are using the fence over here, they won't be sticking inside, so you don't have to worry about them popping up. Then in the middle, we can go back to the 2x2. And this one we have to manually put them in that center. Of course, like I said, if you want to use these, use these. If you want to keep it simple, use the other one. We're gonna be using these because this is how the village shoe looks like. And we wanna match it. As for the colors of this one, this is also what you personally prefer to be. I decided to use these because I got tired of watering the flowers and sometimes forgetting and ending up with no flowers, so I used the plastic ones. So we're gonna be using the plastic flowers on the outside. Just creates a little bit more of a design right there. And then we finish it up with the empty simplicity shelf. And we create a little border right there. And we finish it up with the stars. And do this one 3x3 so that we make sure that they are right there in the center. As you can see, it sticks out a little bit, but because of the roofing on top of it, you won't see that. That's it for the basic design, and then this part is going to be all manual pointing because you want to make sure that they are not only in the dead center but the statue is either, I'll show you right there, either hitting the pillar right there or just right in front of it. I'm gonna be hitting it. As you can see, they're far away enough so that on the interior design you don't have to worry about all that stuff sticking to the walls. Make sure that these have the right texture, which I guess I forgot to put right there. And then for these, again, you're gonna have to put them manually. And if you look on this line right here, we're gonna put one right against it. So make sure that from this little relaxed side table, 2 of the top lines pop up. That's where you want it. So that statues go slightly inside. Creates a nice little frame. For the outer end, you want to do this in reverse, so that when you put them against each other on the opposite direction, they line up. As you can see, they will line up like that. Then you create a nice little corner. This, of course, depends on how you end up putting the walls, but that's completely up to you. So we got here our basic wall design for the first floor. Now if you want to do this on the second floor, you're gonna do the exact same thing minus all the decorations against the pillars. For this, we're gonna just copy everything that we see over here to the next floor. And because we can clone everything, we don't have to worry about having to paint all these tiny little pieces. Then create this little design right here. Now, for the fencing, if you want to use the exact same fencing that I did on the bottom, it will look like this. As you can see, the overall design looks a slightly bit off for my taste. What I ended up doing is, instead of doing it like this, we put it like this. So we're gonna put a little wooden wall planter right there at the bottom. I think this creates a little nicer effect. Or, which also is something that I liked how it looked like, we put a little balcony style on here. So get this kind of effect. Now for this, you want to use whatever you want to whatever you want to use. It really doesn't matter. I personally like this version the most, where it's 2 whites with the burlap. I think it creates a nice little effect for the second floor. Of course, this is entirely up to you how you want to make it look like, but that's my 2 cents right there. And then make sure that when you put these, because there's not going to be a fence right there, you check them on the window. So they're going to be the same height as the window right there. Put them right there. Right there. And right there. You get this effect. And then of course, let's not forget the shelves. This is going to be again the 2. So that they all align correctly. And then for the final border, we create this. Again, this goes mostly inside of the roof, so most of it you won't see. It's up to you if you want to add all those things. But I think it creates a nice little effect on the roofing, because the roofing is going to be straight stuck on it. This creates a little bit more of a depth to the border of the roof. Of course, completely up to you how you end up wanting to make this look like. Oops, I'm not on the right floor. But I think this looks pretty good. Of course, if you want to create a door right here, instead of this window. I personally think that would look nice too if you want people to go to this actual balcony instead of just making it a decoration. I'm gonna be using this one door so that it looks kind of like this, the same like the windows. Of course, make sure that you paint them the same way as everything else, which would be a statue. What's the statue? Right there. And then, of course, for the window, we use white because we use white on the window. This creates a nice little effect for the second floor. Of course, this is entirely up to you if you want to use this version or just create the windows the same way that I did over here. Then you get the same effect. Now, if you want to use the walls at the bottom that I did with the via shoe, so that the actual building starts on top of it. This one is a 2. So we're gonna have the 2. We're gonna clone the painting, so we don't have to worry about putting any codes in. Which I'm very grateful that that is possible now. Put the pillars on the sides. And then we put the oak shelf as the border. And of course, make sure you paint this wall first. Makes it a little easy on you. And then on top of it, in order to create that little nice border that you saw on the VS shoe, I'm gonna put the little stone wall with the same right there. And make sure you have a floor because of the Ottoman. Can't float in the air. You need a little floor right there. Then we clone that little guy over there. And put them right on top of the pillars. I like the effect that I had one more in the middle. It creates like a little castle look. Now, I also added a pool on this side. If you want to make sure that the pillars keep going downwards and you have the basement pass, create the basement first. Then you can put the wall right there. Of course, same texture again. And then instead of having these pillars be over here, I would suggest putting them down here. And then using the pillars, square pillars on this side. As you can see, it creates a nice little effect. Of course, most of this pillar you cannot see, so if you want to just keep these up there and then use these down there, that's completely up to you. I also did something else with this wall. In case you want to have this wall light up, you can add a light right there. In this case, it was before the lighting update, so these didn't hurt as much. Make sure that the little border that you have right there is the same texture, so that you don't see it as much. And then you put the pillar right on top of it. So all you see is the little line, but the entire wall is gonna light up. The color of it is personal preference. If you're going to be using the white, make sure that the room that's on the other side is not right against this wall, because it will light it up quite a bit. That's of course completely up to you how you want to make that look like. And then after you're done making the wall at the bottom, you delete the basement. And with the pool, you'll be able to see this underwater. Of course, you don't actually have to add the basement if you don't want to. You can just copy this. It's going to be a little bit harder to do, but this is by far the easiest way. It's going to cost you a little bit of money, but I think with all this building, you want to make it as easy as possible for you. So this is the outer wall of both ends. And of course the second floor, however you personally like it, that's the way that you can make it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Any comments below? Make sure you post your YouTube channels or your Twitter accounts or whatever you have and you want me to mention inside of my videos. Put them down there. If you like this, of course, make sure you like it. If you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe and check out my fellow YouTubers and my fellow builders in the description below. Also, the decal for the shoe build is going to be in the description below, together with the decal ID for this painting right here. That will be all for this build. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.